In today's episode, we are going from day 0 to day 100, and I was originally going to do this in a hardcore world, but knowing my luck, I will die after day 2. So it is definitely best to play it safe. So as you can see, we are on survival, we're also on hard, and I've also given my world an awesome name. So here we are on day 1, spawning up a tree in a jungle. Once we got down from the tree, we did what every Minecraft player does at the start of their game. Punch trees to death, make some tools, and then go and make them better by getting some cobble. After getting our tools sorted, it was time to get some food. And being in a jungle, I saw some melons, so got them. Next up was animals. We needed meat, so cows were first, and then pigs. Listen to them squeal, and the sheep weren't getting away with it either. We needed their wool as well as their meat. I wanted a bed. Next up was sugarcane and the all-important red flour before getting a load of coal, because I know we'll need this. We then stumbled across all of the bamboo. Lots of bamboo. So I took some of that as well, before making a bed with the all-important red flour. After a sleep in our brand new bed, pork chop was for breakfast, followed by finding a ruined portal where we managed to get some gold armor. After this, we found what we were looking for, and then followed stupid noises from me. Oh, lots of bounty. Oh, this is what we're after. Wow. Whoa. Holy moly. Oh, look at this. Whoa. Look at this. That'll be our place for iron. Look at all that iron. Once I'd finished making all these noises, it was time to head back down the mountain. This is where we got our first bit of iron before we set up camp, because this is where we're going to live. So I got some food ready, planted trees, chopped down those trees, and made our first iron pickaxe. Because I wanted to get over to those mountains and get as much resources as we can get. And it was over here that we killed our first mob. Ah, have some of that, zombie. So we spent the next few days over in the mountains gathering a load of iron, coal, emeralds. These mountains are amazing for getting resources. Now, if you need anything, make sure you find one. It's all there. So after all that mining, we made the long and tricky journey back home, where we smelted down all our iron and got fully kitted out in iron armor with iron tools and iron swords and stuff. And that meant I was finally brave enough to go down the caves and see what I could find. But all I did find was mobs. Lots of mobs, so I chickened out. Oh, I went back to the surface and saw it was snowing. Ooh, snow. Pretty. But we couldn't stay up at the top all day. We needed to get down in the caves again, so I found another one. This one was massive. We needed resources, we needed copper, coal, iron, all that good stuff, and eventually diamonds, but I had to fight my way to the bottom. And as we got deeper, I found all the mobs. Just all the mobs. Ah! These caves are just so dangerous. The mobs just kept on coming and coming, zombie after zombie. But then we found something. It happened at last. Oh, diamonds! Yes, our first ones. And surprisingly, we had to fight off mobs before we even got to the diamonds. Endless mobs. First diamonds. Come on, more than one. Oh, it's only one. Can you believe it, really? So we kept going and found more diamonds. But this took longer than I thought. Okay, diamonds are rare now then. Ooh, more diamonds. So we got that diamond and then came across something else. I know what that is. I know what that is. Yep, it's our very first amethyst geode. This isn't too far from the surface, so I think we'll come back to this one and maybe do something with it later. But that was enough down the caves. I wanted to get back to the top, and that was a long old journey. Oh. But we got back to the top and planted our sugarcane because we will need an enchanting station. And then with those 11 diamonds we bought up, we made our very first diamond pickaxe. But for now, that's enough down the caves. I think we go and find some villages and hopefully find a desert and badlands. I want stuff to build with. So off we go. We went over the snowy mountains and I fell in this powdered snow. Man, this stuff is everywhere. I vowed never to do that again, however. Stupid. But I managed to get down to the village where I robbed all their hay and looked through their chests where I could rob anything, like these emeralds, and I also pinched this brewing station. Thank you. So we carried on our journey and we came across this village, but there was absolutely nothing there, so it was time to take to the water. We went by some lovely scenery, including this jungle. Very nice. And then, all of a sudden, we saw it. Yes. 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 Yeah. Ooh. And a mesa. So I gathered up as much sand, sandstone, and yellow terracotta that we could carry, and then we started the long journey home. And on the way back, I saw this tiny, teeny little coral reef, and I wasn't leaving without any pickles, so I went in and grabbed some of them. We also came across this shipwreck, and naturally, you've got to go and have a look, haven't you? In here, we found our very first bits of moss, so I took them. I nearly drowned in the process, but I did manage to get out. Drowning would have been embarrassing. So on we go with our journey, and I'm not joking, it's absolutely miles away. But we came across this massive hole in the cliff, so I had to take a look, and look at this. We had a dripstone cave, and then at the back there we had a bit of lush cave. I've got to come back here and have a look at this. The caves in this update are absolutely amazing. I love it. But we finally made it home at last. I definitely need to set up a portal to get there quicker. I can't do this all the time. I then put some sand and sandstone into the furnaces to make smooth sandstone because I wanted to build with that. And then it was time to go and collect some more wood. More specifically, that spruce that you can see in the back there. So we got a load of that. Got a few of the saplings. Brought them back home so they were closer to us and planted them there so I didn't have to walk miles. It was then I saw this cave that was right next to our base. So I thought I'd take out that one skeleton and light the place up. However, whoa! Holy moly. Whoa! Where you come from? Yeah, there was more than one mob in there, and I just barely escaped with my life. Oh, I'm gonna die. And after all that excitement, I thought I'd do something that I could chill out to a little bit more. Something a little less dangerous, like chopping wood. We needed a lot of wood. Also, we needed to get this area ready so that we could start building on it. I think I had something in mind, so I needed to flatten this out, get rid of everything that we've planted, and then we'd be good to go. And then it started raining. It rains a lot in this update. I've never seen so much rain, and sleeping doesn't get rid of it. Because at this point, we also had a couple of visitors. Hello. So I carried on digging and thought I'd let them be and let them live. But then I changed my mind. I couldn't have them there staring at me whilst I work. They chose death. So after that, I carried on making the area look better by filling in holes. And then the following few days, it was just about getting wood. I needed a lot of wood. So I used whatever bone meal I had to make this process quicker. And I got as much oak as I could. I also made more time to go and get iron and coal because you can never have enough of that stuff. One item that I knew I was going to build with was going to be copper. So I changed all these ingots into blocks. And then from there, all the blocks into cut copper. And now when you change copper into cut copper, you get 4 for the price of 1. And I wanted this to be green copper, so we had to place it all out and let it all oxidize. And it turns out I had more than I thought I did. And as we were waiting for it to oxidize, I thought we'd keep the night. And I'd use this night to hopefully get some ender pearls so that we could go and find the end portal. I got 1 off this first enderman and then nearly died to the next one. After that long and almost death-filled night, the sun rose on the next day and we had a couple of blocks that had oxidized already. So we grabbed them, then it was time to go and get some birch. I needed birch wood. So I chopped down a load of that before going back into the mines yet again. This time we needed andesite. I wanted to put some andesite into my next build. Day 24. I didn't enjoy day 24. First of all, we had our very first thunder and lightning session. That lasted quite a while. And it was also pretty spectacular. That bit I did enjoy. However, my day took a turn for the worst. I thought after the rain had stopped, we'll go and get some more endermen so we can get some more ender pearls. That didn't go too well. Oh no! Oh no. Oh, that's not good. Oh no! So I waited for the sun to come up before we went home, where we finally got building. I wanted one build where we could put everything. Our enchanting table, our bed and our storage. And it was going to be colourful. I also tried to do it in a style that I've never done before, so I hope this turns out alright. But eventually I ran out of yellow terracotta, so I had to take that journey all the way back to the mesa. I still didn't have a portal to go through. But at least that's given me the chance to do this little montage of me sailing to the mesa. How nice. We got all our yellow terracotta and then made our way back on that long journey. But we found a few things on the way back. I want to take this guy home. Look at him. Ah, yes. 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 Let's grab some of these. Yes. We finally got back and then cracked on with the rest of our build. And shocker, we had more snow. Always snowing. But I have to say, I do like the way this has turned out. It's not quite finished yet, just a few little touches missing, but the leaves really transform it and bring it to life. I like that. Once we had this done, I was out of food. I was starving. So time to go and hunt for some cows. Cows! So after another long journey, I swear I'm miles away from everything. We managed to get these home. So I bred them, got the parrots and the bats achievement, built them a temporary pen because I do want to build somewhere a bit better than this for them. I mean, they deserve it. I then got them into their new little home, saw that this pig was intruding, so he had to go, and then left them to it. Happy cows. For the next day or so, it was all about copper. I'd used all my copper on that build, so I needed more, so back to the caves. And I must have gone really deep because I got lost down there. So instead of trying to find my way back, I managed to dig out, got to the surface, and it was pretty dark. I had no idea where I was. But it didn't take me long to realise that we were next to that mountain where we got all the iron from. So, homeward bound we go. And when we got back home, we bred the cows because I wanted more food and leather for the bookcases. And with our newfound copper, I managed to add the finishing touches to our house. It's looking a lot better now. And shocker, it rained. That's surprising, isn't it? More rain. Day 43. A good time to go back down to the mines to get some diamonds. First of all, I came across this lava pool and I thought this was a good chance to get some obsidian and chopped away before I got that achievement. And funnily enough, we had another welcoming party of all the mobs. So dangerous down here. But then we found 2 diamonds underwater. Happy days. But the next day I thought I'd change my tactic and went back to the usual branch mining to see if we could find any diamonds. I only got 6. I'm still not sure if this is a viable option. More testing is needed, I think. So, back to hunting the caves, see if we can find diamonds, and we got a few more. But we also bumped into mobs that were trying to kill us. This creeper hiding away behind a wall. No creeper. And it was at this point my day took a turn for the worse. I was confident taking these guys out. But the skeleton with the enchanted bow had other ideas. I'm so glad this isn't hardcore now. No. No! Luckily, we weren't too far from the surface, so I managed to get all my stuff back, including 23 diamonds. So, we made our enchanting table, put that down into its new place, and then went to breed up a load of cows because we still needed all that leather for the bookcases to go around it. I then had to pork chop after a good day's work and went to bed. The next few days were all about getting resources for our next build. First up was moss. We needed a lot of moss, and I used up pretty much all of my bone meal doing this. Then spruce wood. I was out of this because we used it all for the previous build, so I needed more. And after using up all of our bone meal, I decided to make a little contraption where we could just dump everything in it, and that would provide us with all the bone meal that we needed. Happy days, no more problems with bone meal. Up next was tuff. I want to build with tuff. So that meant another long journey down to the bottom of our cave. But I knew exactly where to find it, it's just here, look. So, gathered a load of that, and when we got to the top, shocker! It was snowing! What a surprise! So now that we had all our resource, it was time to get onto our next build. We needed somewhere for the cows to live, and eventually sheep. So, a barn. And this barn, I wanted to use moss in a way that I've never used it before. I was going to use it for the bottom walls, and I was going to use it for the ceiling. Especially when you add a little bit of bone meal, it just brings that little bit of extra life to the build. I like that. And as I mentioned before, I wanted sheep. So we managed to get a couple of them in as well, and I bred them up because I want loads of sheep. But Soli, what are you going to feed these sheep and cows with, I hear you ask? Or maybe I'm just hearing things, I don't know. Well, it's wheat! We need to get wheat, so I set out getting wheat seeds and then flattening down the area around the barn so that we could put this wheat farm down. I added a lot of spruce slabs so that we wouldn't trample all over this wheat because that's really annoying. And then I started to hoe the area, which really made it look like a farm. And then to enclose all this area in, I used a load of deep slate walls. I think that looks pretty nice for the area. But eventually, I ran out of this. So we had to make a couple more pickaxes, get down the mines, yet again. That long journey down to the bottom to try and find that deep slate. I think there's some deep slate around here somewhere. Oh yeah, there it is. And luckily, we found more diamonds. Look at that. First block we dug into. Diamonds sat behind it. So I think we got 6 from that. Happy days. So back to the wheat farm we go. We managed to finish all the walls, hoe all the area, and add all those slabs so we didn't trample over everything. And then I thought, I am sick to death of jumping up and down that hill to the back there. So it was time to build a path all the way up. A path in Minecraft changes everything. After all that was sorted, we finally got back to breeding cows. I mean, we still don't have enough leather or sugarcane to make those bookcases that we need for our enchanter. So we planted back down our sugarcane that we took up before and then got to killing our cows. I mean, we need leather and food, so die they must. It was at this point we got our first head as well, a cow head. Yes. Day 64. We cooked some beef. We ate some beef. I then changed out my iron chest plate for a gold one, made a portal, lit it, grabbed a load more gold, and we were good to take a trip into the Nether at last. So through we go, and it was a rubbish spawn. It was just a room of netherite. Oh, this is terrible. So it was time to get my dig on and get us out of here. I managed to get a load of quartz, which was pretty good because I needed levels as well so we could get enchanting. And then it was time to get endermen, and I still needed ender pearls. So we got a couple from these guys. Yes. A good start in the Nether. I then managed to trap 3 piglins in a hole. That'd make it easier for me to throw my gold at them. I mean, I had quite a bit of gold, but they gave me 0 ender pearls. Absolutely nothing. Cheers, piglins. How very tight of you. First time. Honest. First time. Then this happened. God. Luckily, most of my stuff was still sat there on the floor, so I went to gather it all up. But I noticed there was a few things missing. I've lost my ender pearls. We had 2. Oh, this is just not good. So I had to try and get my revenge on an enderman. And I got an ender pearl. Yes. 1. Ah. Ah. Holy moly, he hurts. I've got no armor. Oh, this is just... Oh, this is rubbish. So I managed to escape the Nether and escape the death and destruction that was there. And what else could you do to go and chill out than go and play with villagers? Yeah, that's right. I wanted to chill out and play with villagers. Probably the most annoying mob on the game. But I wanted to bring a few of them over to our base so that we could start breeding them and hopefully make a trading hall. But other than a boat, I completely forgot to bring anything. So I had to go all the way back home and decided I wanted rails. So that meant another session mining for iron. So back to the big mountain we went. Woohoo, look at him go. That's definitely a good excuse to use for a time lapse of this. I like that one. But we did spend a couple of days up in the mountains and I think we got enough iron. I mean, there's just so much up here. And once I thought we had enough, off we go back home, where we obviously needed to put all that iron into our smelters and get it changed into iron ingots. From there, we needed to get all our stuff ready. So that meant minecarts. It meant a load of rails. I mean, we needed as many rails as possible because this is a long journey. And then we set off back to the village, and it's just not a short trip. It's long. I mean, I must have picked a place where we live miles away from everything. Not good planning, that, is it? But we eventually made it up there and started putting all our rails down. And I did have to do this in a few trips because I didn't have enough rails. That would have meant more mining for iron. I've done enough of that. But we managed to get both of our volunteers into minecarts and set them on their way. I think this is the first time I've used a minecart, furnace thing. Very handy. But then tragedy struck. I realized I made a big mistake. But I managed to find another villager and he willingly volunteered to come with us. So we managed to get all the rails all over the top of the mountain. This took a few days. I mean, it's quite a long way, as you can see. But we finally got them home and into their new place where they seemed really happy whilst watching me. I mean, look at them. So obviously we just couldn't leave them in the middle of nowhere like that. I mean, they'd just get eaten by zombies. So we had to get them into a breeding place. These guys were going to make us more villagers. So I dug out a breeding place where the baby villagers could fall down. I went and got some more wool from our sheep because we needed to make a lot of beds, or at least 4 beds. I then placed a load of trapdoors down, followed by our beds, and that should be our breeder complete. It was now time to get our villagers into their forever home, and I'm sure they're going to like it here. I mean, how can you not like it in here? I then went to get a load of bread for them because I knew they'd be hungry after their long journey, and it seemed like they were keen as well. Oh. Hi. It took me a while to figure out that these guys were just not losing their jobs. So I had to go all the way back to the village, break every single workstation, and just hope that they'd lose their jobs so they can start breeding. So I got back, made more bread for them, because I'm a nice person. I then went to throw it at them, but they just looked at it, but I still stood back and then hoped for the best. Come on, make babies. Go. Babies. Make. More bread needed. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Yeah, we got a little dude. Woohoo! Now that we had our villagers breeding, we still needed a place where we could put them and get their faces eaten by a zombie so that we could heal them and make their trades a lot cheaper. In goes our redstone so that we could lower our villagers down to the zombie once we put him in there. And then it was time to get our first volunteer into his forever hole. Well, it's just a holding hole for now. I mean, we can build somewhere nicer for them in the future. In fact, I am going to do that. But this is his home for now. In you go, buddy. Volunteer number 2. Step up, dude. This is your hole. In you go, buddy. It was then time to catch and name our zombie. But I needed iron for an anvil. That was sorted. And shocker, it was raining. I then decided to call our zombie Zombie Bill. That's a strong name. And off we go to find our zombie. But this witch had other ideas. No. Stop it. Leave me alone. You really don't like me, do you? However, after sorting out that witch, we managed to get our zombie the following night. Come on, Bill. Come on, zombie Bill. Come on, mate. Come on, mate. There we go. You're forever home. Haha! At this point, I needed a break from villagers. I mean, I've had enough of villagers. So, back to the Nether we go. We needed more ender pearls. And suddenly, I came across this Nether fortress. That was well hidden away. Ooh. I managed to find all the blazes, and they were kind enough to give me a load of blaze rods. However, when these guys hit you, oh man, they hit you, especially when you've got rubbish armor. It burns so much. Oh, this armor's rubbish. Oh! Ah! Don't die! Oh, I'm getting out of here. This armor's rubbish. Oh my lord. Yeah, so I managed to escape the Nether, just. That was hot. And we decided to finish our enchanting station. Now that we had all the resources for it, this looks much better now, so I added a chest and then put in all our lapis lazuli, because that's where it's going to live. It was then time to use all of those diamonds that we've just got sat there doing absolutely nothing. So, full diamond armor, and I did have a look at enchanting every single one of these, but I wasn't happy with what they give us. So, I enchanted our sword instead. We got sweeping edge 3 on it. And then I checked what we could get with our pickaxe, fortune 2. Ooh, we'll have some of that. But I only had level 29. Time to kill some cows. And then a stroke of luck with our pickaxe. Yes, that'll do. Now that we had our enchanting station sorted, it was finally time to move in. I mean, it's only day 87 and we still haven't moved into our house. But first we needed to decorate. So I added a few floors into our house, along with the steps so we could get up to those floors. Put a ceiling over our enchantment station. Added a load of storage in our house because we needed to store everything that we've got. And I then added 3 beds into our top to make it look like a king-size bed because we need a big bed. It's our house. We need to make it comfy, don't we? Before adding in an area for our furnaces and smokers so that we could cook all our food and smelt all our stuff. After finishing that, I saw that we had an intruder. So obviously, I had to kill them to death and then display their heads on a shelf as a warning to other intruders. Stay out of my house. The last bit of the house we needed to finish was the enchanting room. So we put a ceiling on, added a spore blossom, as well as some glowberries to give us a little bit of light. Ah, that looks nice. I like that. There was still something missing from our house. Flower pots. So I took a trip to the lake that we passed at the start of the episode and got some clay from there. And on our way back, I noticed a load of dogs. I wanted a dog, but I didn't have any bones. So we had to wait for it to go dark and kill all these skeletons to death. I mean, there was loads of them. Look at them all. But I got bones and went back and tamed 3 dogs. Yes. Yes, first time. Woohoo. Yes, 3. We got our dogs home and I sat them all around the base for protection before making those flower pots that I mentioned. I dotted them around our house and then added the colourful azalea trees in it. That looks so much better now. Now that we had everything decorated, the next few days we had to move everything from the outside into our house. So I put down a lot of item frames on our chests and barrels, and then began the long process of bringing everything inside. That took a while. I definitely had more stuff than I thought I did. Day 94. I wasn't happy with our path. You know, the one that leads down to the barn? So we added a few walls here and there, we added leaves, and then we decorated our portal. That looks so much better now. Happier solely. As we're getting towards the end of the 100 days, I wanted to set us up for the next 100. So that means more iron. I've got 0 iron. So I found a massive cave. Well, they all seem to be massive now. And went down and got a load of resources. And funnily enough, I bumped into a few mobs on the way. Dangerous down here. Yeah. And during my travels, I found this spider spawner. And you will never guess what I found in that chest. Okay, you may do. It was an enchanted golden apple. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Look at that. So I went home and placed the golden apple in our enchantment room. Nice. For our final day, I decided to go back to the Nether fortress. I mean, we've got fully diamond armor now. We've got all the tools and the weapons, so we are good to go. I came across a load of wither skeletons. Unfortunately, none of them give me their heads. But I did come across 2 chests and we got loads of diamonds from it. When I say loads, I mean 6. After that, this happened. Yes! First one! Woohoo! Yes! Yes. After that, I headed home and enchanted our chest plate. That's it. That is our 100 days done. Lots of progress. I can't wait for the next episode now.